Hello everyone, my thesis topic is on reachability queries over large graph. Today's world has been producing a huge amount of data, and which is a concern for scientists to manage and to store their large amount of data. Think about a time when there was no internet. We used to store data on our floppy disk, on our local disk, and large organizations have their own data center to store their data. But with evaluation of the internet, we felt the need to move to the internet. The reason being, if I take an example of banking system, I don't want to go to my home branch ATM every time I need to withdraw some money. What I want is wherever I go around the world, I can do my ATM transaction freely. So which led a financial organization to move their data to the internet cloud. Now, next, there are various techniques by which the data can be stored on the internet, and the most famous was in the form of the table. But again, the problem arises when we have to establish a relationship between two bank accounts, between two persons on a social networking site. If we look at this example, Alex and Eric, they are sharing a supervisor-student relationship. But to store that thing on a memory, we need a third table, which adds memory complexity. And moreover, there is a duplication of the data, so which adds to the time complexity. This is one simple example with a small relationship. Think about the Facebook, where a person has many relations with family, with office colleagues, with friends. So that will become very complex to store all the data, and also it will add to the time complexity. Then scientists move to another technique of storing the data, which is graph database. And same example can be represented or stored very easily with the help of two nodes and one edges. So in my thesis, I'm using a graph with about 2 million nodes and edges. So we are trying to bring the memory cost to the minimum and the time cost to a constant factor. So for example, if I talk about this social networking example, we are trying to find out if two graph nodes, they're related to each other, like person at node A and person at node G, are they related to each other? If they do, what kind of relationship do they have? Like these two share the relationship of brother of plus student of, and whereas person C and person D, they do not share any relationship. This is one very small graph and one simple example. Whereas in my research, we are taking a lot different types of graph and with lots of graph nodes and graph edges. So the advantage of using graph technique to store the data is very easy to handle, take less memory, it provides very high computational cost. And the applications like social networking, traffic analysis, protein analysis in bioinformatics, these are the applications which are using graph techniques to store their data. So hopefully when I am done with my thesis, I can add useful work to these applications which will help them to minimize their memory complexity as well as their time complexity. Thank you.